Hello, viewers. I'm SB, and welcome back to Mask of the Rose, which has been missing for a while. What happened is I was having some problems, health problems mostly, that made it difficult to maintain the whole schedule. And, if things are going to get cut, it's probably the thing that's only on 2 days a week already goes first. But I do want to finish it. I think that we're in kind of a rough spot here where I think I tried to do too many things at once, and I don't know that we're going to actually accomplish any of them. And also, I have not managed to get to a place where the way that the story building system relates to your ability to ask questions to others is necessarily intuitive for me. So it's a little messy. I suspect we're not gonna figure out what happened to David, and we're not gonna save Archie, and we're not gonna fuck Mr. Pages. I basically dropped every single ball I was trying to juggle here, again because I was trying to do an awful lot of things. I will say I feel pretty good about where we've gotten to with Ivy. That's a plot line that I'm pleased with my progress on. But yeah, this definitely feels like a thing that wants you to focus a little bit, and especially it's challenging to do the Archie stuff if you don't have a good feel for the way that your constructed narratives translate into your ability to question others. And like partially I'm saying I don't have a good intuitive grasp of it. Also partially I think it is the system does not behave intuitively. There have been many times when we built a story that doesn't allow us to ask a question that we can ask later in another arbitrarily different circumstance. And yeah, there are things about this that have not gelled with me. Anyway, we know there's nothing left in our recall the past here. So I think maybe we can try to put together a solution. I think there's only a couple of days left on the timer. Maybe we can put together a solution that we can just hand to Harjit and hope that it's good enough. The thing is, I don't want to necessarily accuse somebody, to put somebody in a position where they might get into some serious trouble, up to and including potentially, imprisonment, execution. Although down here, what does execution even mean, right? Yeah, it's tough to say, huh? Okay, what if it was David? Yes, David wished for freedom to see Milton. Hold on, I fucked this whole thing up. Clear everything. What if David hatched a plan to maybe he figures out his own death? I'm trying to first of all, what's the version of this that gets the fewest people in trouble? And secondly, if I were writing the story, what would I write? What would be the fun wacky supernatural twist? And the fun wacky supernatural twist is that David did it. David did it using Phoebe or Ivy. Ivy. Maybe it is envenomed post. Here's my thinking. Motive: it was an honest mistake. You wanted the murder to succeed, and so you died. So you fucking died. So the thing is, this is like Ivy as deliverer, accidental culprit. And then he's framing the Carringhams maybe, but you don't have a way to this is my frustration with the system, right? It is either the construction here is either too complicated, is either far too complicated for any simple motive, or far too simple for any complicated motive. It really is to some extent, I really do wonder if there is exactly one thing that makes this structure make sense, and you're supposed to divine what happened by the fact that they only give you the structure to build one story that makes sense. Because what I'm figuring is David wanting to die. If this is the thing, like, what's he trying to do? He's trying to knock some sense into his sister. You know, make it one of those things where it's like when he's gone, she realizes how much she appreciated him, and then he's back and he could enjoy that. Or he's shaming the Carringhams, or I don't think it would have anything to do with Milton. Because there's no way that David dying serves David's goal of getting Milton to go away from Rachel, right? Huh. What if... Because David's kind of sickly, right? What if maybe he believes that dying and then coming back... Well, that's thin. It's an interesting idea, but I have nothing to go on. Then again, maybe that's what we do. We do nothing to go on. David sent Ivy adulterous letters is kind of like... The idea is he would have sent an adulterous letter to the house with the Carringhams, like making it look like it was something that came from the Carringhams so that they get pinned for the murder, right? And she... Like, what's the action that we're saying she took? I mean, she didn't send the letters, but she delivered them. Can I put the Carringhams in this? But it doesn't, like, they're not the culprit, right? In this idea of a story that we're constructing, they would not actually have had anything to do with it. And you can't put David in the culprit slot, unfortunately. And I don't think Ivy did this, I don't think this was a conspiracy between the two of them. I think it was a manipulation in this story, right? Because maybe I'm foolish for believing Ivy, certainly someone who's comfortable telling a lie. But it just really, I don't know. She's convinced me. So she... Maybe... I don't know that it's about a dislike or a love for David. I mean, none of this stuff makes any sense. She had unknown purpose. But if she's not the one, her buying the rare ingredients, like, it's possible that he managed to get her to acquire whatever the poison was, but that's not really what this... It's just that none of the motives or actions here work at all for the version of this story that we're trying to build. There's not much that we can try to build. David, okay. David planned to return to the surface. What about something else here? David wanted his inheritance. And in this case, what? It's Rachel not wanting him to leave her alone? Okay, hold on a second now. I'm not allowed to select love to David here. So I guess this is to be understood as a romantic love. Because, like, I do think she loves David. So as we're looking at this now, David began planning a journey to the surface. So what would her action be here? I guess the idea is, like, she poisons him on purpose, right? But maybe not with the intent of killing him. Maybe? if this is what happened, I feel like it's way more likely that Rachel doesn't kill him with the post, right? Rachel kills him by messing with Archie's bag or something. Maybe? Maybe. I mean, this is at least... Oops, sorry, that's not what I wanted to... This is at least, like, almost a functional story. And it gave us a title and everything, which I think is usually the sign that we're allowed to ask questions about it, at least to the principals. Rachel missed her family powerfully. David wanted to inherit an estate and funds that would otherwise come to David. See, the word motivator, this is a problem. Like, the fact that you can't have Rachel's love for David be part of the equation, because the word love here, an overloaded word if ever there was one in our culture, is being used to have precisely one of its 7,000 possible meanings. We're having the same problem with motivator, where motivator could mean motive, but it could mean mastermind, or like whatever. I'm hitting save and exit on this. We're taking it outside. So we don't have much time left. I'm going to talk to Phoebe about Rachel. I think I like that idea. We're going to do what we can still with the time we have left. It does feel like trial and error in this system is very costly. Do I wear my mushroom? Sort of a weird get up, but I'm trying to make Phoebe comfortable. I don't know. Let's just try it. Okay. I wait while she finishes her chores enough to take a moment with me. We step outside. You know, it's not really about the cats. Let's just come straight to the point. I'm here for a reason. Phoebe feels like part of their family, right? So let's be cautious about this. Am I remembering that correctly? Is it going to be... I doubt it'll be noted in my journal. And we know that she perhaps holds further feelings about David. You know, I suppose this idea of someone poisoning him to prevent him from leaving for the surface but accidentally overdoing it, Phoebe actually works quite well as a culprit as well. Potentially just trying to get him to not leave because she doesn't want him, you know, out of her life. Well, we're here now. Let's come at it with a little bit of protective kindness. Now, there's nothing for you to worry about. Did you ever see reason why Rachel might have killed David? Well, she's not a bad mistress, Rachel. Though she does have a way of looking at you that sees you and doesn't, if you know what I mean. Oh, very interesting. What a curious behavior from Phoebe. I shall make the second lowest scullery maid exhibit the same trait in my next chapter. Like I was a creature on display, but not one she'd any true interest to know. It's David that sees me properly. When he looks my way at all. But I wouldn't say she did a murder, and certainly not David. If she were going to murder someone, it would be for research, for her stories. Yeah, that's an interesting point. David doesn't have any heirs. I want to get more about what's going on with the family, right? Because David received a letter. I don't know if she knows. Did David have anything of value to bequeath? Diamond mines that would have passed to a second cousin, shares in a surface railway? Well, he's got no legitimate sons, if that's what you mean. Family like this one, you'd know if he did. Okay, that's not really what I was getting at. Did you know your father well? Or do you, I suppose I should say? Since he might still be living. You know, I'm thinking maybe this character... Well, no, like, this character came to her skills through her family, though, right? So... yeah, maybe Winnie has an okay relationship with her parents. I give her one of the good anecdotes. Something charming and easy to laugh about. What a character. This is something I'm a little, like, once again, a little unclear on the implications here. Is this me thinking this? I'm just setting a truth for myself, or is this something I'm going to tell her? I'm going to say it's a story I lived. Retelling it draws over the old memory another time. Laying down another set of inclines. This is what happened, and how I choose to recall it. What about yours? Here's what I told David Landau when he asked. My father was a hedge scholar. He used to travel from place to place teaching children. He taught Greek and Latin and bits of Irish poetry. But he didn't stay home with my mother long, and he'd stopped coming back to us long before the bad times. And that's what I said, and it's true. But it's not the whole of it. He was sworn in with a set of men that would go and take vengeance on a bad landlord. It's a little redundant. Someone mistreated a tenant. My father's gang would go round to burn the landlord's own house down. He lived by violence, and that is also how he died. And you might think badly of that, but then again, the landlords often as not were killing folk too. Yeah, no, that's fully believable. We have a dark sense of humor. Oh, I see. I wait 2 beats. Then I tell the one about the autophagic mother. I thought it was going to at least be sort of like on topic, you know? Or I guess change the subject was in that line, but you still want to like seg a little bit. Let's talk about her current preoccupations. What's on your mind right now, Phoebe? Slowly, like teasing its trophy away from a mouser, I'm beginning to find the secret indicators of what Phoebe herself wants. She'll not tell me in so many words. She wouldn't tell anyone. There is too live a possibility that she would meet with a peremptory refusal. As long as she tells no one what she wants, she may continue to believe that she deserves her prize, and it's only misfortune or unfairness that prevent her from having it. Much better that than to make a request of someone and be put sharply in her place, and reminded that she can never be entitled to such a thing. What she wants is nothing less than elevation out of the kitchen. What she wants is to be brought upstairs, to sit in the parlor and eat at the dining table, and to be recognized, to be a recognized Landau herself. I should say goodbye. Phoebe and I should be friends. That's not actually a hidden, like, we've known that for a while, as I remember it. Can I go talk to the Landaus? Either of the Landaus? The thing is, it's not about David's heirs. It's about the family finances. It's about the way that they are receiving things, not the way that their things would be received by others. But I don't know how we would make the book reflect that. Maybe we got to change the story just a bit. Wait, this is a novel plot. What am I doing? Just fully the wrong click. Okay, So David was thoughtless. He was thoughtlessly planning to return to the surface. How dare he? And Phoebe was all like, I really don't think Phoebe did it. I want to be able to question Rachel about, man, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Phoebe did do it. Like, she has this powerful drive to be recognized as one of the Landaus. How powerful is her resentment? Right? Or how powerful is her resentment for not being recognized? With no consideration for those left behind, David began planning a journey back to the surface. Phoebe poisoned David. She meant to just make him sick. It's a story. I think it hangs together pretty well relative to our other stories. The thing is, interrogate Rachel about David's lovers doesn't make any sense with the story that we wrote unless you assume that Phoebe loving David necessarily means that David loved Phoebe back. Which I don't think is implied, and in fact I think would make loved David kind of non-functional as a motive, right? Because the way that works as a motive is if it's unrequited. Yeah, the system, I still don't... I think the structure of the system is good, but I think the problem I'm having is with the way the options are rigged up to things at the back end. The developers and I just do not have any of the same thoughts about how stories work. I don't know. Let's see if we get anything. Yeah, if I'm going to see Rachel, I should absolutely change. You have a visitor. Okay. Just don't feel like you need to give me an option if there's only one thing to click. It's good to see you. I pause and look in Phoebe's direction. To shoo her off, I guess. I'm gonna go ahead and flirt with Rachel real quick. Just throw a quick little bit of flirting in. We were destined to meet. If London hadn't fallen, we would have met on the surface instead. I'm sure of it. It had to be. You talk as though you mean to court. That's not a deterrent, merely an observation. Did I tell you that Milton is thinking of publishing his own literary journal? There's something clean-lined and brisk and free of fuss, with none of the floral furbelows you find cluttering the bookstalls. She fills in a few more details about Milton's literary aspirations, but in time this well runs dry. Seems like sort of a non sequitur, but it's fine. I'm just gonna ask her. We don't have to soft pedal with Rachel. She is not a fainting lily. Was David much of a man about town? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Were there ladies expecting his attention? Charlotte Carringham. He was in love with her. She married someone else. Someone Christian and well-placed in society. I think she loves him still. Okay. And were they having an affair? No, she doesn't visit here, and David does not leave frequently, except for services. He's been too ill. There's a brief lull in the conversation. You find me at a difficult time. Oh? My publisher writes to say that if I do not produce chapters more quickly, I will be replaced. He'll hire someone to complete the novel according to his best sense of its current trajectory. His. And do you know who it is my publisher thinks to assign? Mr. Huffam. A man, and a Christian, of course. Oh, he'll cram the story full of orphans and moral improvements. But my publisher says Mr. Huffam is reliably timely in the production of new pages. Whatever one says, he cannot be faulted for speed. I place no hope whatsoever in his being able to render my characters, however. I wouldn't put it past him to make my heroine convert. If you can find it in you to speed along your ideas, I would be immensely grateful. And believe me, I do know how much I am asking. The wellspring is dry, and I am meant to have a gift for this. Well, I mean, I do have this plot that I thought up. Dreams are a danger to everyone now. From there, I go on to speak about the ending. I didn't have much patience for stories like this on the surface. Reading the old folktales is one thing, but when it came to characters of our own time, I preferred them to face real difficulties. I suppose our dreams are difficulties now. Yeah, well, for some of us that was always true. Grizz and her employer may like this one too. I could admit Grizz was my inspiration, but if anything, I think that just ends up with Rachel going, yes, I should steal more ideas about Grizz. So instead, I'm going to flirt with her. These are my ideas. You can pay me for them. I know you like to research these matters. So if there's anything in this story that requires practice, I can only offer my assistance. Yeah, smooth. Good work, me. I wonder how sincere your interest. You may merely wish to upset my brother, a cause in which I am in full sympathy. Rachel does look grateful. And, okay, 3 pennies, that's something. Flirtatious, thanks. Always flirtatious with Rachel. You know, I knew there was something I liked about you. Thank you kindly. I'll think nothing of it. There's more if you can take it on from that point. I'll have some work to do, putting flesh on all these bones. And there are some points of motivation that I may alter slightly. But it can be used. It can certainly be used. I mean, we're like running out of time here, so I don't know that we're going to be able to like pursue a romance. But I feel like there's things going on here, and like look at the way she's looking at us. Friendship has a claim on me. This has crept up on me. I thought I had feelings for someone else. But it's you, isn't it? You're the one I think about most. Rachel is Rachel, even in a moment like this. Observant, eager to perceive where I am going and meet me on the way. She tests how I respond to every touch and follows every encouragement. I thought this might happen. It exceeded my expectations. Novels do not give a good idea of what to expect. I don't think she did think this might happen. She's editing the story live, you know? I must return to my writing, I'm afraid. It has certainly been an enlivening conversation. Okay, well, that was something. We'll just go home and clean up a little bit, and that'll do. Nope. Make sure to help clear the dishes after eating. Maintain your responsibilities. And so, friends, 4 days remain in the season of Yule. Is that right? Is that how many days? I thought we were closer to the end than that. I'm the first to the morning paper. The headlines today read, Inventor proposes building a balloon to visit whatever is above. That seems familiar too. Okay. So, develop a plot about the heroine's troubled dreams. A spoilt beauty and someone encountered one another in the land of nightmare, and some stuff happened. She encounters a character based on... We don't really know much about the king, but that might make it interesting. The enchanted king. Bloody hell, I don't know. This is not really what I'm not trying to sell stories to Rachel right now. This is not my focus. Let me go talk to Harjit about who do I currently have? I feel really bad for Phoebe. I definitely don't want to be like, hey Harjit, go arrest the help. A surface dweller. So, okay, this is David's motive. He wants his inheritance. The surface dwelling relative of the Landaus is also wants the inheritance. So... They sent word of the inheritance. Maybe it's... Oh, gosh. But this is just what we're describing here. They missed David, so they sent him, you know, information about the inheritance that he was due. Like, how does this end with them killing him, right? And it doesn't make sense. We're just describing like an unrelated person in his life, not the culprit in a murder. I mean, we could do a story where Phoebe was jealous of David's family. Maybe. So what's the action here? I don't think they were ever having an affair. I think she would have liked that, but I don't think it was happening. So Phoebe complained to David about the painful end of their affair. I don't. It's not really what the word confided means anyway. She loved David, so she did what? David wanted his inheritance. He planned to return to the surface. She loved David, so she planned to poison him. But like a little bit, you know, just like a little tiny poisoning. A gentle poisoning. Bought rare ingredients for a supper meant to make the eater fall in love. David began planning a journey back to the... But she made an honest mistake. She didn't get the... See, like, this idea of a supper meant to make the eater fall in love is just, like, it's not here. It's not present in the thing. Nor have we ever heard of anything like that down here. But okay, she poisoned David with arsenic disguised as medicine. Well, no, in this case, she would have poisoned David with the fucking... You can't make the story make sense. What does this give me as far as Askin? I mean, we know what's going to happen here. She's just going to tell us about the Carringham's. I don't know. I just don't know, and I don't think there's any chance that we're going to figure it out without, like, some kind of very major piece of information sort of falling into our lap. Talking to Archie seems to be of no value in the case, which doesn't, totally shock me. He didn't know. Let's go talk about... We already asked about recovering David's memories, right? It's possible that I would need to be, closer to David, maybe, to get him to divulge anything that would actually be useful in the case. I guess let's go see what David has to say about this. I'm hoping he's going to give us something other than Charlotte carrying him, but we'll have to see. All right, our Carringham visiting outfit, or our Landau visiting outfit, rather, seems to be working okay as far as I can tell. That look suits you. Yeah. David's had some interest in perhaps heading upward. I recount the newspaper story. An ambitious inventor building on the ideas of Montgolfier has proposed a balloon trip to scout out whatever is above London. Oh. Mr. Fires is said to have forbidden the development. I make the story as engaging as I can, plenty of detail, etc. You know how we do it here. The changes we are living through. Extraordinary. I keep looking for some logic or rationale behind them. I find I can't surrender to unreason so easily. Yeah. I don't really know what that has to do with... I'm just going to drop this topic. We're not getting anywhere, and he's sort of wandered off the topic already anyway, it seems like. We turn to the supply of gas and oil. It is a favorite pastime, speculating how much of these commodities the masters have in store, and where they could have come from. And what will happen when night falls entirely. Let's start with... Actually, let me start with the inheritance question. Could this be a matter of money? Did you have a success in business or come into an inheritance? You could say that, though it would be more accurate to say that I came into a great deal of bother. The money was not immediately evident. I have a cousin, Isaac, on the surface. The cousin had estates near Brighton. In the ordinary course of things, I would not have expected ever to come into that money. He was not much older than I am, and he had recently married. I had expected to wish him joy when his children were born, which I imagined to be in the near future. But instead, when mail service with the surface resumed, we found notification that he and his wife had both died. The estate comes to me if I could reach the surface to claim it. Right, we heard something about this before. This may have displeased some of our other relatives. It will certainly have put Isaac's brother's nose out of joint. I am not going to change the subject. We're sympathizing. I'm sorry. I can only imagine how it must feel. David makes a few flattering remarks on my better points. Okay, He's kind of flirting with me right now. Let's raise the question of his romantic life. Maybe this will feel like a natural shift to him. Was there anyone who had strong feelings for you? Anyone who might have acted on them? There was Charlotte Carringham. We were engaged once. After the fall, she indicated a renewed interest. I didn't pursue the affair. I suppose Charlotte's husband may have been jealous if he knew about the letters she wrote to me. I burned them. I did not reply. And she wrote to me once more just before I died, when the news of the surface had come. That is interesting. The timing of it, I mean. Well, unfortunately, what if Lord Carringham somehow saw or got word of that letter? If he did, it must have reassured him. Or at least the letter would have made clear that I am not his rival. It was a final retraction of everything she said before, apologizing and withdrawing all of her promises to leave him and come to me. She cloaked it all, but her meaning was clear. As soon as there was any chance of escaping back to the surface and living there in wealth and comfort, she was reconciled again to her decision. That is curious, isn't it? She wanted me more than she wanted a cold cavern with Carringham, but she wanted Carringham's estates on the surface more than either of us. Oh, right, because it's not about a chance of him escaping back to the surface. It's a chance of her escaping back to the surface. Right. That makes sense. Well, I am sorry. We've all had a great deal to bear. That's a weird thing to say. That's interesting that I have the option to keep asking about it. You're sure there wasn't any matter of the heart that touches on this? You know about the Carrighams, Charlotte and her husband. But the question sets loose another memory. I told Phoebe I was thinking about returning to the surface when we got word the passage had opened. I thought to build a passenger line, begin a limited company, and find investors. I was rambling about those ideas more to Rachel than to her. I wouldn't expect someone of Phoebe's background to take a great interest in my business dealings. She never has done before. But she became distressed. Huh. I wonder if maybe there is something more to that than her just not wanting him to go. Perhaps she has some cause to want to stay below. She suggested we all stay. And I did tell her that she would not be required to come back with us if she didn't choose to. Well, yeah, but she's not going to just... Abandoning the Landaus is not a trivial matter for her. Perhaps he does not realize the degree of that. I don't suppose your housekeeper had motive to kill you. No. That's all? No? No. It's a preposterous idea. I know the newspapers are full of such stories. Harmless old couple poisoned in their beds by scheming ungrateful maid. But Phoebe is not ungrateful. She's part of the household. The third member of the pair, if that doesn't sound too peculiar. If there was a mistake, I could perhaps extend as far as imagining there was some recklessness involved. Perhaps Phoebe was careless. But even that appears unlikely to me. For a moment, no one speaks. Before I died, I couldn't eat because my stomach would not let me. Now I feel well enough, but there are still days, many days, when the sight of supper makes me feel sick, or sends my heart rate up in fear I'll be poisoned a second time. Rachel has to taste all my food for me, nights like that. Huh. Well, I'm sorry. I can only imagine how that must feel. Okay, David's always flattering my points. He doesn't like talking about this. I'm going to offer David my friendship. You know, I see you as one of my closest friends. Ha, due no doubt to the great deal we have in common. I find it easy to speak to you. Well, I have a lot of practice being spoken to. Take that, Rachel. Not that I complain. Well, in any case, I think very highly of you. I shouldn't tease. You offer something real. The best of things, really. I find it difficult to trust what is offered to me, and difficult also to trust my own commitments. But you, of all people, have earned my trust. You have often impressed me. I am glad to consider you a friend. Honored, really. Goodbye. Everything is always running too slowly, and yet every day is the same. Emulate David's cautious approach to what I'm told. I mean, I maybe could bear to be a little bit more I feel like I've done a lot of going, well, somebody tells us a story and I go, well, I immediately believe that. Let's move on. So, yeah, maybe he never believes anything merely because he's told. And sometimes that means he doesn't have enough confidence in himself and his own choices. But it makes him less susceptible to lies. Yeah, maybe that's what I want to be myself. Okay, so asked David to stay below and was careless as elements for stories. Where do those slot? Obviously, this would be an action. Phoebe made a reckless mistake and poisoned David. I mean, I don't know. It's not impossible. Here's the thing. If it does turn out to be Phoebe who done it, what do we do with that? I know I want to be a friend to Archie and everything, but I also don't necessarily... Oh, I don't know. I'm quite torn, actually. Quite torn. Yeah, that's a tough one. So wait. Wait, didn't we pick up action asked David not to return to the surface? I was really expecting that to be available here. I really, really, really don't know. Like, I think it would help a lot if I could just figure out, we have no idea what the method even was. And I think that would tell us a ton about who and why and what exactly. But it's just, I feel like we have so much information, but so little of it is meaningful, Let's see about this. Mr. Pages may expect me to turn up with my ministry badge on, but the thing is, I'm not going on ministry business. I'm satisfied with this. I am not representing myself as working for the ministry right now. The more often I visit the neighborhood of the bazaar, the more it seems unlike any other part of London. But when I try to imagine where it might have come from, my mind halts. If I can guess, I find I don't want to. Your badge! It is not misplaced? No, I did not wear it. Next time, wear it. You do not appear to have brought any ampliplated forms with you. Ampliplated, I guess, is how you would stress that? Ampliplated. Perhaps the nature of the job was not made clear. No, I don't want to do either of those things. There's no blame to cast, and I don't need to apologize. I need to tell him that that's not why I'm here. When I requirate an apology, I will extract one with tongs. Yeah, okay, listen. Here's what I'm actually here to talk to you about. Is it possible to make people forget things here in the Neath? Polypotentously. One may remove one memory, or several, or all, scrubbing out the mind like an old cup. Or, which is juxtaposited, one may erase the truth entire, converting what was into a cold contradiction. But these pens and inks are reserved to the lex illiterate. Not for you. Yeah, no, that's not really what I was asking. Other questions? You know David Landau returned from the dead. He is not alone in this. The boatman has been active. Okay, well, London has been present here for many months. David Landau was hardly the first to die. London settles slowly into the influence of the Neath. The return of the dead, the articulacy of beasts, these will become more common. Oh, interesting. Did the masters know that would happen? Mr. Mirrors performed the necessary instructicants. What might be expected, what ought to be done. London did not render attention. Draw impolite conclusions. Boy, I wish that there was a little bit more specificity here. And again, also, a little more clarity on whether this is something I'm doing internally or externally. Perhaps the warnings eluded me. Mr. Mirrors operates in the realm of somnolation. In nightmares of burial and nightmares of the grave. In nightmares like the one that brought Rachel Landau to our front door with a shovel. I said the written word would be more effectuant. Mr. Mirrors declarated me to be unreliable in matters of paper and ink. It accused me of inviscerance, parchmentary, agant habituance. I say farewell to Miss. I just, like, with that sentence, I'm like, okay, yeah, actually, I'm done here. It is at times difficult to tell whether Mr. Pages is intentionally ill-mannered or merely has no interest in discovering what the proper etiquette might be. My feelings are stronger than ever. Here's the thing about monster fucking. You have to do it with the monster. That's the deal. That's kind of the whole thing. Alright, I expect nothing is going to happen at the dinner table here. Just a feeling I have. Perhaps my feeling is misinformed. Misinformed? Mislaid? Something. Perhaps it's a bad guess. Archie's trial is scheduled in a few days' time. If there's anything you had to tell me about it, you have 3 full days left to do so. Yeah, I really thought I had remembered that we only had, like, a couple left at the beginning of the... whatever. Further evidence against our friend. Or further alibis. You're intruding on our supper. Yeah, look. I'm almost ready to bring you something. Well, you know where to find me. This would not be necessary if he'd given us warning. Archie could have gone into hiding. There are ways. Under the city, within it. Yeah, no, I'm with you. Harjit knows them better than anyone. I have no patience. Coming here, putting the responsibility on us. No, she's absolutely right. This shit sucks. Harjit's an asshole. If he has a bad conscience, let him repair the damage himself. Well, definitely help clear the dishes. Moss just hangs out and doesn't eat with us, I guess. All right, 3 days remain, and we got just a whole lot of nothing here. 2 great big heaping handfuls of nothing. I get to the morning paper after Grizz is done with it. The headlines today read, Pigeons reintroduced in the yard of St. Fiacre's. Fiacre. Yep. That one. You know the one. Well. Couple episodes left. We're gonna keep trying. I would dearly love, first of all, to just know what happened, and secondly, of course, to save Archie. But it may bear some, it's just going to take some doing, it seems like. Bear some further consideration. So, when you come back next time, we have a story to figure out, a theory to push, and maybe we just end up implicating somebody else. I don't know. Maybe we get desperate. I don't know exactly who it is that I wouldn't feel bad putting in jail. The Carringhams, I guess? Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll get to it, and we'll see you then.